Okay, so board exams are right around the corner. The pressure is on, right? Well, if you need a super fast way to nail down all the key physical education concepts, you have come to the right place. We're going to blitz through the topics that you know are going to pop up on that exam. Ready? Let's do this.
So here's the game plan. We're tackling 6 big-ticket items from your syllabus. We'll kick things off with kids, women, and sports, then dive into the cool physics behind it all. After that, we'll talk about training like a pro, getting inside an athlete's head, figuring out how to actually measure fitness, and finally, the fuel that makes it all happen. Let's get started.
All right, first up, kids, women, and sports. And we're going to zero in on a topic that examiners just love to ask about: correcting posture.
So what are the common postural deformities and how do you fix them? This is a classic two-part question, right? You got to know what the problem is and you have to know the solution. So let's dig into it.
Okay, this right here, this is your essential checklist. You've got knock knees, flat foot, round shoulders, all the big ones. You've got to be able to name these. Seriously, just memorizing this list is half the work for any question on posture. Now, let's pick one and look a little closer. So lordosis, what is it? Basically, it's an extreme inward curve of your spine, right down in the lower back, the lumbar region. Just picture someone standing with a really deep arch in their lower back. That's the image you want to have in your head for the exam. Okay, so what about fixing these things? Let's take flat foot, for example. The corrective measures are actually pretty straightforward. Things like walking on your toes and heels, skipping rope, or even that tricky one, riding with your foot. All of these exercises are designed to build up the arch of your foot. Super easy things to list for some quick marks.
All right, we've talked about the body's blueprint. Now let's get into how it actually moves and deals with forces like gravity. This is where we bring in the physics of sport, and that means we're talking about biomechanics.
So how in the world does a soccer player make the ball curve like that? The famous banana kick? You've seen it, right? It looks like it defies physics, but actually, it's all because of physics.
Before we answer that, let's get the definition straight. Biomechanics, what is it? It's simply the study of how biological systems, like our bodies, move. It uses the laws of mechanics to explain everything from a simple walk to a powerful punch. And the secret to that banana kick? It's called the Magnus effect. When an object, like a soccer ball, spins as it flies through the air, it actually creates a difference in air pressure around it. One side has high pressure, the other has low pressure, and boom, the ball gets pushed and curves right through the air. Pretty cool, huh?
Okay, so knowing the physics is one thing, but training your body to pull it off is another thing entirely. That brings us to our next big topic: training for peak performance.
So what are some of the key methods for conditioning and training? This is another one of those questions you can pretty much guarantee you'll see. The examiners want to know if you understand the different ways athletes get into top shape.
If you need a great example for your answer, talk about fartlek training. It's a Swedish term, and it literally means speed play. Just think of it as unstructured interval training. You're not on a track, you're out in nature, mixing up your speed, sprinting for a bit, then jogging, then walking. It's all about playing with your pace, and it's fantastic for building endurance.
All right, we've talked about the physical side of things, but so much of sports happens between the ears. That's right, we're diving into the mind of an athlete and the psychology of success.
So here's a big question. Why do some super talented athletes just quit? They have all the skill in the world, but they give up. The answer almost always comes down to one thing: motivation.
And when we talk about motivation, it really boils down to 2 types. You've got intrinsic motivation. That's the stuff that comes from inside you, like pure enjoyment of the sport. Then you have extrinsic motivation. That's all the external stuff, like trophies, money, or praise. Both matter for sure, but that deep internal drive, that's what really keeps an athlete in the game for the long haul.
Okay, so you're training hard, but how do you really know if you're getting better? How do you measure fitness and skill? That's where tests and evaluation come in. We need hard data.
And this leads to a very direct exam question. What fitness tests are actually used for school students, say from classes 4 to 12?
Well, here's the list you need to know. Things like BMI, the plate tapping test, the 50-meter dash. It's a whole battery of tests. You've got stuff for speed, for endurance like the 600-meter run, and flexibility with the sit and reach test. For the exam, you not only need to know their names, but also what exactly they measure.
And that brings us to our last topic, but honestly, it might be the most important one. You can train like a beast and have the strongest mindset, but if you're not fueling your body correctly, well, none of it matters. Let's talk about the science of sports nutrition.
Okay, first things first. This is Nutrition 101, and you absolutely have to know this. What is the difference between macro and micronutrients?
Here's the easiest way to think about it. Macronutrients are the big ones you need in large amounts. Think carbs, proteins, and fats. They're your body's energy source. Micronutrients are the small ones you need in tiny amounts, vitamins and minerals. They don't provide energy, but they're crucial for making sure your body functions properly. You need both, just in different amounts.
And speaking of health and nutrition, let's talk BMI, or body mass index. This table, this is basically a cheat sheet for your exam. You have got to know these categories. What number is underweight? What's normal? What's overweight? You'll definitely see questions that use this, so get familiar with it.
So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the key concepts. But before we wrap up, here's the most important thing to remember. Don't just see these as separate topics. The real magic happens when you connect the dots. How does your mind affect your body? How does your fuel impact your performance? Answering that question, well, that's how you'll go from just passing to absolutely crushing your exam. Good luck.